Now, I don't say this often.
I don't say this often.
Now, I don't say this often. He's going to be a wild card in the league. Welcome back to the Wildcards podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Coleman Madlin. I'm joined here once again on this lovely February Friday afternoon with my two fellow co-hosts,
Joshua Sykes,
Brandon Hardkey.
Let's get right into the news. All right, let's start off. Brandon, do you want to talk about Kliff Kingsbury and the Raiders offensive coordinator job?
Yeah, man. So Kliff Kingsbury last night signed with the Las Vegas Raiders for their offensive coordinator job. This was the guy that I thought would go coach at Alabama, just because I thought they were going to go a little bit younger than what they've got. And I really liked his play calling back when he was with the Cardinals, when he went 28 and 37. So he didn't do that good, but I think he was a little bit ahead of his time in the NFL. Because that was only a couple years ago, but now that Mike McDaniel, the Kyle Shanahan offenses, and even Ben Johnson, just how the offenses are more unique, trick plays and everything. I think this will be a great fit for the Raiders. The only problem is they do have a new head coach, but that division is just stacked with great coaches like Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and Andy Reid. That's hard to beat. You got to play them twice a year. So I think the Raiders getting a guy who has NFL experience and who's I feel like this is better for him just to be the offensive coordinator than to be the head coach, because he just has to think about the offense. So just to scheme against those teams 6 times a week or 6 times in a season, I think this is a great pickup by the Raiders.
Sure, for sure. And just based off that, I was going to ask you guys a question, because you brought up something that I thought was kind of interesting. What division in the NFL do you guys think has the best coaches and head coaches? I don't want you to factor in the offensive coordinators. I mean, you can if you want, but just purely based, and I would argue that it is the AFC West. AFC West, you have, so you got Reed, you got and Harbaugh, the guys you mentioned, Pierce, and then gosh, who am I missing? Sean Payton, of course. I mean, it's not hard to miss him. He's kind of a fraud now. Anyway, but yeah, I would say the AFC West. Josh, you have any thoughts? Are there any divisions that have better coaches? I mean, NFC West has some pretty good. You got.
The NFC North has good coaches, but Matt Eberflus, I think that's the Bears head coach. I don't know. I mean, you could say he's iffy. As much as the Vikings are fraudulent. I mean, Kevin O'Connell does a good job.
Sure, a lot of those guys have just not recently. I mean, some recently have been. It's probably all of them in the last 8 years have been recent hires. So I mean, they're unproven. Most of them are young guys. Obviously, no Super Bowls out of any of those guys. So they're unproven. But I think that's NFC North probably is one of those divisions that has the most untapped potential. And hopefully that gets tapped. So yeah, that's my Josh. Any opinions?
No, I think y'all covered it pretty well. I don't see any problem with what y'all said.
Gotcha. All right, Brandon, what's up next?
So up next, Mike Martin, FSU baseball legend, has sadly passed away at the age of 79. He's the winningest coach in college baseball history, and I believe he had been battling with Lewy body dementia. He spent 40 seasons at Florida State, going 2,029 wins, 736 losses, and 4 ties. He retired in 2019, which I believe his son took over the team after that, but he did not do that good of a job. So his son is, I believe, no longer the head coach. But while Martin was the head coach, they won 19 conference titles. You could put him up there with Bobby Bowden as an FSU great,
Oh, of course, yeah. 79. Great impact.
FSU.
Great impact. I think he put, I don't remember the exact figure, but I saw a figure on Instagram from one of these FSU accounts that I follow, and it said that he had one of the most prospects drafted in the farm system, or one of those metrics, by a large margin. And of course, I don't know which metric that is, so don't hold me to that. But one of the metrics was an insane amount. I think he had several. It's in the high couple dozen that he had drafted into farm systems, maybe even more than that. But yeah, impressive coaching career overall. I wish we would have seen him win a national championship. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Peace.
Prayers out to him and his family. But moving on to someone else that's dead to me, Liam Cohen. has screwed over my Kentucky Wildcats for the second time in 3 years. He has used Mark Stoops as a stepping stone to get back to the NFL, and I'm not appreciative of that at all. Didn't have the greatest seasons last season. Not terrible, but not great. We're wanting to try to take the next big step, and I thought Liam Cohen would help us do that with this great recruiting class and transfer portal class that we brought in because of Liam, his style of offense. But like, he has screwed us over once again. I'm sure in Lexington right now they're having a burial of Liam Cohen and his career. He's definitely on the no hire list from now on.
Yeah.
But yeah, going to the Buccaneers. No way. If everybody doesn't know, he's now offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers. I really don't know why he made the move, to be honest. I mean, I get it, NFL, but like
money.
At the same time.
Yeah, this is my thing, Josh.
Oh, whoa, hold on. He was
Okay,
the
okay.
highest paid assistant in NCAA.
But okay, would you? I mean, this is the thing. And for everyone listening, I have had this conversation with Josh. I saw the rumor of him leaving. We had this conversation, all of us. Josh is probably the biggest Kentucky fan I've ever met. And the thing is, it's hard to explain, Josh, that just because it's a team you love doesn't mean that like they have the same exact connection. Sure, they're the coach, but I think any offensive coordinator, head coach, I mean, maybe not head coach, any person in their right mind who's young and has a future in coaching, who's a current who's a current assistant coach at a university, I don't see why they wouldn't move to take an offensive coordinator job. It's not a lateral position. This is an upgrade by far. It doesn't even matter if they get paid less, which I'm pretty sure he's going to get paid more, even though he's one of the highest paid assistants. I worry for Kentucky for not only their recruiting. I know Mark Stoops is a pretty good recruiter, but obviously the NFL talent that Liam Cohen has, those connections with all the NFL teams, like you have the Los Angeles Rams, and I mean that's really it. But the talent that he brings in at like a recruiting level from both the transfer portal and out of high school, I think will be greatly missed. And I don't know how Kentucky's going to fill that gap, fill that void in the time that they're looking for a new OC.
Well, we got time. And if Mark Stoops, if you're listening to this, probably not, but like, I will make the trip to Lexington. I will become the next office coordinator. I won't take a dime of your money.
You heard it here
until
first.
we win a national championship, buddy.
Volunteer.
I know exactly what we can do. Brock Vandergriff, the next coming of Will Levis. He's actually going to be better than Will Levis. Coming from Georgia.
I'd hope.
It's not hard when you don't even start.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He was like the third best quarterback in his recruiting class, top 5.
If he was that good, wouldn't he be playing? Wouldn't he be playing?
He was playing behind, but he was playing behind Stinson Bennett, and then he played behind Carson Beck, that already had 2 years in the system that he got in. So I mean,
okay.
It's hard to say that he can play over.
You know what, Josh?
In the system.
I'm gonna go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm excited as also a big Kentucky fan. I'm excited to see how he does. Of course, I'm more of a Kentucky basketball fan, but I'm a Kentucky fan nonetheless. And I wonder if Brock Vandergriff is going to live up to this expectation. Obviously, we're going to see. But I definitely think that Liam Cohen leaving might have an impact not only on Vandergriff. I'm sure like it was a possibility in his head. Like his people, his camp knew that it was a possibility. But I'm wondering if that's going to impact the way he plays, performs, or even decides to stay at Kentucky. Josh, do you think he's going to leave?
Who, Vandergriff? No, I don't think he'll leave. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, they definitely got to find somebody with the same kind of play style as Cohen, like the way he calls plays and things like that. I mean, which is hard to find. I was thinking when I first heard the news, Kingsbury, maybe, you know what I'm saying? It'd be crazy, but he had already signed with the Raiders.
I think you're a bit optimistic here. Okay, this is your thing. This is the thing. I know we're droning on about this.
Let me go.
Okay, Brandon.
Josh, I'm just gonna put it this way: Kentucky football does not draw as much attention as the NFL or Kentucky basketball even draws. Like, no offense to Kentucky football program, nothing against them, but Kliff Kingsbury is not on y'all's radar. Okay, the SEC is just stacked. Like, y'all aren't beating Bama. Maybe with a 12-year or 12-team playoff, y'all will be.
We get closer to beating Bama than Georgia. After everybody left.
Well, that's a whole different thing.
But and the reason Liam Cohen left is it's like what all the guys say. You can't win the Lombardi Trophy in college football. Like it's not there.
Who
You
says
can't
that?
win the Super
Who
Bowl.
says that? Let me know who says that, buddy.
Jim Harbaugh literally said that, bro. When they asked
Oh
him,
my God.
why did you come back to
The
the
meat
NFL?
writing is crazy.
It's not meat writing. I'm just comparing great coaches, Josh. Do you think Liam Cohen's a good guy?
I don't
Like
think he is at all. I
if
hate
I'm
Liam
an
Cohen.
offensive coordinator and I'm scheming up in Kentucky and I look at this phone call and it says Tampa Bay, I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, is this finally my chance to go to the NFL? Can I
Yeah.
finally leave Kentucky and go down to Tampa
Yeah.
Bay?
Yeah, but let's think about this. Why did he have to come to Kentucky? Because the LA Rams didn't want his ass no more. And then they wanted him again. And then he came back to Kentucky.
That's the
And
whole
then
thing,
he's
though.
like,
That's the whole thing. You're used as a
use
stepping
Kentucky as a
stone.
side chick.
Exactly. It's a stepping stone. So why do you think that?
yeah, but why bring somebody back? He owes Kentucky half of his freaking salary.
So are you upset with the management? Are you upset with Bernhardt, or are you upset with anyone like the who are you upset
Burn
with?
it all. I say burn it all, man. Bernhardt can get it because not really, because honestly, I'm sure they had a sit down conversation like, yo, you're gonna be here for a minute, and he's probably like, Cohen was probably like, yeah. So
Of
Cohen's just a straight
you
liar.
say that. That's like the same thing you
Cohen's
say
a
if you're in
straight
college.
liar.
You say to your summer job, "Oh, I plan on working at CVS for the next 20 years of my life." Of course you're not. You're going back for the
Yeah,
semester.
but
You're
you're
gonna
not
go back to
signing
school.
a contract for multi-million.
You are signing a contract, not for multi-million-dollars, but it's the same type of thing, just on a smaller scale. That's my
Not
take on it.
really.
Okay. Anyway, let's just move on. I think we all agree that Liam Cohen
put it
didn't
this
have.
way.
Okay, let's hear it.
He owes $500 million to the University of Kentucky for breaking its contract.
He does owe, like officially, he owes it. It's in the clause.
$500,000. Yes.
Oh, I thought you said
Oh,
5 million.
I thought you said 500 million. I was like,
Oh,
there's
five-
no.
Okay, no, we're not. It's
500,000.
not Mahomes. 500,000. That's like an that's an
He gets
acceptable
paid
amount. to pay.
1.2.
Okay, that is a lot. But he's gonna get a better, like he's gonna get paid probably over 3-5 somewhere in that range million at Tampa Bay as an OC.
I don't
Easily.
care. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I got the opportunity to coach, just not even say Kentucky. Let's just say, give me a program that's like comparable to Kentucky football.
Vanderbilt.
Stop it.
Okay, no, let's.
Shut up.
What is the comparable program to Kentucky?
Yeah,
to
think
Kentucky?
about it.
Okay, are we in the SEC? Because I think that you'd have to pick.
Oh, it doesn't have to be. I give you like Maryland.
Dude, are you
Yeah,
stupid?
that's
Maryland's not comparable, bro.
okay. Fine, let's think of
It
it.
has to be in a Power 5.
Yeah,
it has to
Josh,
be in,
you're
like,
making me think of
big
a
Power
team
5
that goes
conference.
8-4 every year, and then it's like
Think about Clemson
undefeated for, like,
recently.
the first 4 games. Like that's everyone.
Okay, well, Clemson for 1 year. They
The last 2
dominated.
years.
Let me think of a team
What-
that goes
okay.
9-3,
Mississippi
makes a bowl
State?
game every year.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State's not comparable, dude. We're better than Mississippi State.
You're not better than Ole Miss.
Okay, Ole Miss. Okay, give me
Oh.
Ole Miss. I'm offense coordinator at Ole Miss. I'm not taking calls, to be honest. If I
Yeah,
build
Ole Miss is a
Ole
better
Miss-
position than Kentucky.
Yeah, that's
Just like-
totally different.
just
Kentucky
like
and Ole
Lane
Miss are
Kiffin's not taking
comparable.
calls.
Yeah, okay, sure, but it's not comparable, so it doesn't matter if you're taking calls. That's
Okay,
not the
give me a
thought experiment.
comparable then.
Maryland used to be pretty
Yes.
good, dude.
No, they weren't.
Like average for the Big Ten, which is Kentucky's below average in the SEC.
No, they're
average.
not.
They're average. They're average at best.
No, they're the third
Oh,
best
my-
team in the East.
Yeah, and how many teams are there? It's
There's no East, there's no West anymore.
but,
There's no
but
East, no West.
historically,
They're still the third
they're
best
in the
team
middle of the pack. Historically,
Historically, maybe, but like we're talking
Sure,
about the
but
last 10 years.
okay, last 10 years, they're like 65th percentile.
No, they're not. They made it to a bowl game every year,
I still think, dude. Do you realize
and
who
they've
the-
won
the top?
80% of them.
Dude, we have the likes of Auburn in the past 10 years. You have
Auburn's dog water.
in the last 10 years they were pretty good. You have
Okay,
Alabama,
call it last
Georgia.
5. Call it last 5 then.
Okay, 5. Last 5, then sure, 73% style.
Oh my God, you guys are delusional. Anyway, I'm not picking up the phone for anybody. If I'm building a program, I'm not picking the phone up for anybody, especially if I have a contract. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
Josh, I guess we just gotta agree to disagree. I don't see
Yeah.
I don't see a point. We might have to revisit this a later time, but let's
Yeah,
move
we
on.
can do it.
Boom,
Dan
Texas
Quinn.
A&M, that's comparable.
What?
Last 5 years I
Texas
agree.
A&M.
A&M.
Oh yeah. If I'm at A&M and I'm like the head coach or offense coordinator, and I'm building A&M. I'm not
Well,
taking calls for anybody else.
Okay.
either.
That's also like hard to say because like you also have the oil money coming in. So, I mean,
Exactly.
there's a money aspect to it. Moving on after that conversation about Kentucky, let's talk about Dan Quinn. So Dan Quinn, Cowboys defensive coordinator, former. We all know the Cowboys.
Falcons legend, bro.
Yeah, we all know the history of what this guy has been a part of. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't think that the Commanders. I think this is a lateral move. I mean, would you guys disagree? I think this is a pretty lateral move for the Commanders, who, under new management, you've got the likes of Magic Johnson, at the probably the most notable name of the group trying to buy, or not trying, who bought the team. Yeah, you have a new face. Fans are excited. I mean, all 10 of them, and they're getting hyped. And then you hire Dan Quinn, who is part of, I realized that the Cowboys defenses were ranked top 10, but there's a certain a trait about coaches. And I don't know, I'm not in the inside of the Cowboys organization, obviously. I don't know how, but this is a team that consistently chokes. I mean, I can't think of another team. Maybe the Bills are the only other team that consistently chokes in recent history. There's
I just look at
you're talking about the Cowboys. My fault.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Cowboys.
Just look at the last game. Look how many points they put up on the Cowboys defense.
Yeah, so I mean, you can be ranked as high as you want in the playoff or in the regular season. It doesn't matter once it's playoff time. I think it's all good for optics and stuff when you have a really good defense during the regular season, but literally all of it does not matter if you do what Dan Quinn did and the Cowboys did in that first playoff game. Is that a fair analysis, guys? Would you agree?
I agree.
And you have to admit, he might be a good coach, but he also had some pretty dang good talent. He also had one of the luckiest players of all time, Trayvon Diggs, getting the most Mickey Mouse interception number count I can ever see. If you look at the number of Mickey Mouse interceptions that Trayvon Diggs got 2 seasons ago, something like that, I don't think these are the type of things that boost Dan Quinn's his prospect
resume.
To people, resume and stuff like that. Where can you even contribute that to his skill or what he brings to an organization? I don't think so. So, and final thoughts about this, I don't think this is a good hire. I really don't see. I mean, sure, Washington traded away their big cornerstone defensive piece earlier this year, and that was Chase Young. They traded Chase Young away.
They traded a lot away. They
traded Montez Sweat. They traded all these pieces away, and now they're getting a defensive-minded head coach to come run them. I don't agree with it, and that's final.
Coleman, I'm going to piggyback on the Commanders thing real quick. Dan Quinn is a terrible hire, I can't lie. But Ben Johnson did shaft them, which I mean,
no, yeah, for
good
sure.
For me. Ben Johnson's coming back. But I personally would have put Eric Bimini as the head coach because of what he's done for the offensive coordinator when he was with the Chiefs. But I heard that during the beginning of the season, the way he makes the players train and practice, that the players didn't like him, so they didn't want him to be the head coach.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson did kind of hurt them, screw him over.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is kind of you guys are lucky.
And they didn't even give Bill Belichick an interview. The greatest coach of all time didn't even get an interview.
I don't blame them for that. As much as we say Bill Belichick is how many years?
He's old.
He's going to retire in 3 years.
3 years left. That's a rebuild.
Hot take. I don't see him ever becoming an NFL head coach or any head coach ever again.
All right, Coleman, let's go ahead and move on to the NBA here, man. What do you got for it?
Josh and Brandon, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the player Steven Adams?
Brick wall.
Australian.
Australian. Okay. And now what do you hear when you think of when you hear Victor Oladipo?
0 tendons in the knees.
Okay. Brandon?
When I think of Victor Oladipo, I just think of broken, on the inside.
Okay. Here we go.
His spirits.
Well, interesting news just went down yesterday. The Houston Rockets have traded for Memphis's Steven Adams, and they gave up Victor Oladipo and also 3 second-round picks, which is you think of second-round picks, whoever. Well, that's just basically trade opportunities that you can move up and move down for first-round stuff. No, not in fact. No, I think a lot of those second-round picks are they're going to be pretty high value, and at the same time, you can always get valuable players, role players, and I mean, once again, I've always said it. Role players is what wins you championships in the playoffs. Role players is what gets it done. Those rotations. Anyway, obviously a big trade went down. I mean, any thoughts initially on what I've said before I'll break down the money and the picks? Any thoughts, guys?
I feel like it's just a lateral trade for both.
I agree. I think that the Rockets are kind of done with Oladipo and his knee. They must not have good outlook. Because I mean, dude, Victor Oladipo, man, when he was healthy, I mean, he was disgusting. His defense really good. He's a great piece for the Heat in that run that they had. And I don't know. It's just sad to see such a player, a player with such high not aspirations, but high potential just to have such an injury-ridden career like that. And I mean, I know it happens. I know it happens a lot more than we see, but this is just one hits different. So
like Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like
games
it's not an injury. It's not an injury like Oladipo. Oladipo's had like 5 of these happen, so I mean, it's not really comparable. Anyway, obviously Steven Adams, he's pushing late, or no, he's like mid-30. I think he's 30. He's pushing, his early 30s. And it's getting, into a point older in his career. And he has, dude, the Memphis Grizzlies organization is overrun by just injuries into suspensions and injuries and more poverty. They have some, bright stars. G.G. Jackson looks pretty good. He still has some more maturity issues, as we saw in last night's game, February 1st. Also, I think that the Rockets are gonna try to make this like surprising start to the season, surprisingly good. And I mean, they're gonna try to make something out of this. I think that their rebuild is gonna be like shorter than they expected. They have some good pieces. Sengun is playing ridiculous. He's playing out of his mind. And Ime Udoka, I mean, he's looking to upgrade his roster, and I like the moves that he's been doing. I think Steven Adams could be a great piece.
Good talk, Coleman. Good talk. I like the points that you made there. Steven Adams, I mean, I guess I get why they're moving on from him. I mean, this season's really like nothing now that John Morant's out. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. is doing his thing, but I mean, I forgot that they even got Marcus Smart, but isn't he been out all year too?
Yeah,
so,
he's been out as well.
They really just have like, this is a good year for them to get pieces to, use in the draft. Sure. And it was, I believe it was 2 2024 second round picks and 1 2025.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's picks they can use instantly. And I hope for the best for the Grizzlies organization, man.
Let me lay something out for you guys. No, I agree 100%. Let me lay something out for you guys. The Memphis Grizzlies, it may seem like they're doing terrible, but they're still finding a way to win these games without all these players. Let me just remind you guys, they have Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, who is lights out from 3 and looks like he has T-Rex arms, which is the insult that everyone makes fun of him for. I know it's cliche, but it's pretty funny. They have Marcus Smart. And now they have Victor Oladipo, and who knows if he'll be an impact piece. But along with those picks, I think this is a scary team. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm a Timberwolves fan. They have like a small rivalry, with the Grizzlies, stemming back to like a other playoff earlier series that happened a couple of years ago. But I'm kind of scared of this Grizzlies team. They're gonna get a really good lottery pick this year, and their outlook for the future looks pretty good. And I mean, do you guys disagree or agree?
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried for.
They still have the GOAT Luke Kennard, but
yeah, they do, and they also got a lot of salary cap removed. The Grizzlies did. So, Steven Adams' contract, was pretty good. I think they lost. They gained about like $13 million in space. And now they're like $20 million before the cap or below the cap, and yeah, so
they'll be franchise. Am I right?
It is looking pretty good for the Memphis Grizzlies right now. And I'm excited to see what they do. All right, let's move on. Josh, do you want to talk about the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, so this week has kind of been like a senior festivities down in Mobile, Alabama. Some standouts. You have been there. That's cool. But that's crazy because I didn't ask. Roman Wilson, one of your guys, Michigan guy, wide receiver. He's been balling out, as well as the Toledo cornerback, Quentin Mitchell. I think that's how you say his first name, Quentin.
No, Quentin Mitchell, bro.
Anyway, they've actually, after the first day of one-on-ones, after that, they've been running reps against each other, like a lot. So, like, every rep. And Mike Tomlin's there. He's really the one that put them together. He's been walking around on the field and stuff like that. And some of the quarterbacks haven't been doing too well the first 2 days. The third day, Bo Nix really popped off. But overall, I think the best quarterback probably Michael Penix out of like the camp wise.
Sure.
That's there. I haven't heard anything about Jordan Travis. Is he even throwing?
No, he can't. Well, I think he can throw. Can't throw. I don't think he's participating. He's there, but he can't participate because of his injury.
Okay. And then Devin Leary, he's not participating because he's dog water and nobody wants him to see him throw. So yeah, that's pretty much the wrap up of the Senior Bowl. A lot of
at least we agree on that front.
Yeah, a lot of one-on-ones in the like lineman one-on-ones. Some aggressive play there. I saw a dude got his helmet ripped off, and I saw some people talking about that. Like some people are like it's either a good thing or a bad thing. But I think it'd be like a good thing, like that aggressive, and I don't know.
No, I think it's a good thing. You got to show out for the scouts watching. One other thing that I'd say is for Bo Nix, I definitely agree that he's been on and off. I mean, I saw one of the worst underthrows in scouting camp event history.
Roman Wilson put the Toledo guy on a map, and then Bo Nix's throw was
I mean, the receivers aren't getting their full recognition because they have a guy like Bo Nix.
Well, I don't think it's even that. I mean, it's just like these guys have been playing with the same guys all season, so they represent with them.
That's one thing, but that's completely throwing balls is another. I mean, it's not even like.
Have you ever played D1 football, Coleman?
I plan to in a couple of weeks.
But my thing is they're moving so fast that you have to throw it ahead of them.
Oh, of course. I
you don't know how fast your receiver's going to come out of the break or
how
fast
they're
going to hit the break.
You understand how football works, son, but you have to lead your target.
Thank you for explaining the rules of the game I've watched for like over a dozen years. But let me explain something to you, Josh. Bo Nix is a guy who's pushing 40, and he's supposed to be a top draft pick in this upcoming draft. And if the fact that you can't get on the same page with the receiver, I don't care if he's not on your team. Is he gonna have that experience with the players that he gets that on his team when he gets drafted?
Hold on. No. My thing is the first 2 days, terrible. Some of the clips bad, but this third day he's actually been on target and he's been the best quarterback there.
Okay,
and that just shows me he can adapt quickly. Because 3 days of practicing with some guys, that's hard to do.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that there's some talent level to that where like the more talented you are, the faster you can adapt. In 2 days. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that kind of is a lot. But I digress. Let's move on. Pro Bowl. I mean, obviously there's some changes to the Pro Bowl. We have some skills thing. I mean, they've been changing up the formats of both the NFL and NBA of their like designated weekend. So obviously we have the Pro Bowl for the NFL and then All-Star Weekend for the NBA. They're trying to do some new things. In the NBA, we got the 3-point contest between Sabrina and Steph. That's going to be one heck of an event. That's
gonna be cake for Steph, bro.
You think so?
I think Sabrina should have to shoot from the NBA 3-point line.
I sure she said she would, bro.
She said on Twitter she would.
WNBA, bro.
But I mean, to be fair, to each like they have their own like. It's not like Steph practice. I mean, even if you're the best shooter should be able to make a shot at a pretty good rate on either thing. I mean, either you could do half and half, or you could just play to your own strengths. Anyway, it's up to the NBA to decide.
Let Steph Curry shoot some mid-range. I'm sure he won't hit any of those.
Okay, well, you know what I meant. I meant like they practice on their different things, so it's going to be different. So I mean, I don't disagree with like letting them do their own range. Like it's only a few like feet shorter, if that. I think it's like a foot and a half or something like that. And if you've been practicing on one size your whole life, why should you switch up? I don't think it's like a skill thing. If anything, it's hard for me personally. I know I'm like almost to the NBA level, but I'm obviously not there yet. But like I struggle with those like inside area shots sometimes more than I do the mid range. It's just like a psychological thing, and also the angle has to be different. So I don't know. It's just like little things like that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think we'll see who's the best shooter in the world. But moving on, other Pro Bowl stuff. You guys have any opinions on the format changes, anything like that? Also, I mean, we could throw in the NBA too there. Do you guys think there's something that the NBA needs to add for All-Star Weekend? Like, I've always thought that would be cool to have a one-on-one tournament. I've seen that idea passed around a lot. Like, but it's the same type of thing. I mean, if players are scared to agree to do a dunk contest because of optics, I'm sure all their managers are like, yeah, don't do this, because there's a chance, like, let's say you just get absolutely posterized, and then that's just who people like associate you with for the rest of your career. There's that same risk with the one-on-one tournament, and maybe even more so because we don't have debates on who's a better who has the best poster. But we don't have that debate as much as we have the best debate or the debate on who's a better like one-on-one player. I mean,
that's exactly why I think they should do it. Like, it's all about pride at that point.
But I mean, there's no clause in the NBA, PA, the Players Association will never, ever, ever agree to anything that makes like a player like liable to play in these events. So I don't think that you could ever force someone to. And if you can't force them,
you'd have to, honestly.
But you can't like that.
I understand that it probably will never happen.
In a perfect world.
But in a perfect world, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play the sport.
I 1,000%.
You're gonna play in this event that's gonna make millions of dollars as well.
Yeah.
So
no, I 100% agree.
I don't like it. I don't like how you can just opt out of going like to the Pro Bowl and All-Star.
Well, the Pro Bowl is the Pro Bowl is different. I think the Pro Bowl is different because I mean
I don't think so.
Players who opt out of the Pro Bowl are like almost entirely the 95% of them are players who are in the Super Bowl.
Oh, no. I get no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like
Mm-mm.
people that just opt out like entirely. Like they lost. Like call it like the Lions player. They lost. So like they don't want to go to the Pro Bowl though. So they just opt
Okay,
out.
well, yeah,
Like I
that's
don't think
different.
that should be allowed.
I don't know about 95%. I pulled that number out of my behind, but I also think that like in the past, it's largely been. I mean, at least the major players that make the Pro Bowl usually don't participate, and those that's because they are in the Super Bowl. Because I mean, the best
It should
players are
just
usually
be.
in. I
It
don't know.
really should just
Yeah,
be an honor to do both. Like I don't
For
understand
sure.
why
Yeah.
it's such a
It's
big
turned
deal.
into it's turned from an honor to obligate like a something you have to do, like a
I don't know.
moral
For
Really, I
me
mean, I
obligation.
feel.
personally, if I
Go ahead,
made
I'm
the Pro
sorry.
Bowl, I'm going to that bit. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like, if my team was like, like in the NFC Championship and we lost, like obviously, like I'd be sad, but I'm still going to the
Sure.
Pro Bowl.
Yeah, of
You know, how,
course.
like
yeah.
cool it would be to like
The
hang out
Pro
with all
Bowl.
like these fellow
Dude,
stars, bro.
I mean, we saw the events last night. And they're having more events. I think tomorrow or Sunday. I can't remember.
I think those were all the events, and then they still have to do like the best catch thing again,
Yeah,
and then it's just the flag football game on Sunday.
Yeah.
it's like they have to do tug of war and then move the chains and stuff like that, and to kick tack toe. They have to do that stuff.
Yeah, so
But
it's
like,
definitely more like aimed to the younger audience for sure. Like, what are we even
I
getting
don't
out of a?
know. I mean, I like watching stuff like the kick tack toe. That's a lot of skill. You know
I
what I'm
mean, yeah, but
saying?
okay, bro, are you serious?
I liked
Yeah,
watching like the QB one, like the
yeah. I
That
like
one
the
is cool.
QB one,
That's like the classic one, like the target one where you get the points. That's the classic best
and I kind of
example.
like the tug. I kind of like tug of war because you get to see who's stronger.
I like no
But
Sure.
what's that one? It's like it's kind of like how like the NBA does like how they do like the layups, the
the skill
shot, the
challenge.
pass, the
Yeah,
skill challenge. When the NFL does that, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is pretty
that
cool. I
was pretty
agree.
cool.
Oh, also the
But like,
dodgeball. I thought that was a cool thing. I thought that was pretty
yeah,
cool. Dodgeball. So they do some cool things, but I definitely think that the NBA needs to get their act together and develop a culture where it's a privilege to be in these games because it is a privilege. But we
you
should
mean
probably
the
move on.
NFL?
No, the NBA.
Oh, you're talking about the one-on-ones.
The
Yeah,
one, yeah,
like
the one-on-ones in the dunk contest and stuff like that.
I don't know what you can do besides give them like a cash prize to win it. But like even at that, I don't think I'm doing it for like if it's me and I'm in the NBA, just calling me Devin Booker and I'm in the NBA, like, and I want to prove that I'm the best scorer one
Yeah,
on one. Like that's just pride at that point. I don't care how
yeah.
much you pay me.
I think it's definitely a culture thing. But let's move on.
All right, so speaking about the NBA All-Star Game, the final rosters has come out. We got a few snubs that we're gonna talk about later, but the rosters as it is right now, for the East, we got the starting five: be Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, and then the reserves for the East would be Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle. So that kind of rounds out the East. For the West, the starters, of course, the captain for some reason is LeBron. And the starters would be Luka, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron, Jokic, and then the reserves, the first one off the bench, Devin Booker,
Okay.
then Steph Curry, then Anthony Davis, then this guy named Anthony Edwards, don't know who that is,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Paul George, smoothest guy in the league. Kawhi Leonard, I don't know why he's not been injured all year.
No, he's
And then
only missed
Giannis-
like 5
He's
games.
actually playing great this year, bro.
I'm
Kawhi
joking,
Leonard.
bro. I'm just kidding, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we got last but not least, Big Purr himself, Karl Anthony Towns.
They were asking for you in media.
And then and then I just want to point out, I know if you're a true listener, and you just listen to everybody I've named off, there's 7 Kentucky players. That's the most all time by any All-Star like event. Next closest all time would be 4. So yeah, just to point out, Kentucky's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, wait.
That is impressive.
How many Kentucky players have scored 70 plus points? One.
One.
2. Oh, 1. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns didn't score 70, so 1.
Yeah.
He will tonight though against
Kansas
yeah,
owns y'all.
All right, Will Chamberlain doesn't
Okay.
count.
Yeah, I feel like that doesn't. Yeah, that's kind of hard because
I don't see any videotape of that one.
yeah. All right. Well, anyway, you guys want to talk about the snubs? You guys think? Because I have one that kind of hits close to home, but I think there's a conversation to be had. I'll just start.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah, you gotta start.
So I heard a lot of stuff about some Kings players, and Josh or whoever wants to go the other one, maybe Brennan. But one of them is Sabonis, and obviously he didn't make the reserves. He has some great stats, and he's well rounded. He's probably I don't know. I'd say, I mean, he's the second most important player on the team. I'd say first Fox, then Sabonis, then actually Malik Monk, I think plays a very large role in the Kings system. But anyway, I think Sabonis, there's definitely a case to be made. I saw a lot of people who are mad, and it's kind of a personal argument for me, just because Karl Anthony Towns would probably be his like who he would replace. Obviously, I'm a Timberwolves fan. Karl Anthony Towns,
Not big per.
yeah, I mean, you have to give weight to the fact that the Timberwolves are the 1 seed, and you have to give weight to the fact that the Kings are the 5th seed. And is there a big enough difference between those 2 seeds to make Cat a more not viable, but like a more appealing player for writers and people who voted? I don't know. I don't know if that's a big enough difference. And if it wasn't, what was the difference that put Cat over Sabonis? And I think that one argument that could, be used in favor of Sabonis being over Cat is that I think Sabonis's role on the Kings is a bigger role than Cat's role on the Timberwolves. And I know that's a hot take for some people. I've watched all the games and even for some Timberwolves fans, I do think obviously Cat is, has the utmost importance in terms of like a lot of I mean, he's the longest tenured player on the Timberwolves and all that stuff. But I do think with the emergence of Anthony Edwards and also the rim presence, the defensive presence overall by Rudy Gobert, the soon-to-be 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, I think that it is Cat's kind of, and he's accepted taking this backseat role. And I don't know. Do I have a decision? I think it's kind of a toss-up. And since it's a toss-up and I'm a Timberwolves fan, I'm going to use my bias. I'm going to say Cat deserved it. But I would accept I would accept arguments, and I would argue with people. And I wouldn't be mad if people thought that Sabonis deserved it. I think it's one of those toss-up ones. What do you guys think?
I'd almost say it's like a relevancy bias. So like Cat with the big game of scoring all those points.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an argument. I mean, he just scored. Is that the recency stuff? Like he just scored. Does everything else go out the window and people are focused on that? A lot of casual NBA fans like Brennan and Josh, like my 2 co-hosts here, they'll see numbers and they'll see like, wow, this player scored.
I'm saying the people that voted for him.
I'm just kidding. I was just throwing shade at you guys. But I'm saying some people see numbers and they think, whoa, he's probably been doing this all year. He's on a tear. That's not always the case. You have on and off games, especially when your name is Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, but yeah. What do you guys think? Other snubs?
I'll let Brandon go.
Okay.
Obviously, hating him was a snub.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some real snubs.
A real snub, I got Trae Young on my list.
Okay. Why do you have Trae Young?
Well, Trae Young's averaging 27 points per game and 10.9 assists per game. So, I mean, I saw this thing on Instagram. I don't know like where it came from, but Trae Young, there's only been 3 people in NBA history who've averaged over 25 points per game and over 10 assists.
He's going to do that.
Break. And Trae Young is 2 of those 3.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I mean, he's been snubbed twice. This year, I mean, it's just the East does have like good guards. Like Tyrese Halliburton's emerged out of nowhere. They have Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell's doing great for his team. So like,
yeah.
I mean, I think I would take out Jaylen Brown, like guard/forward, because I mean Jaylen Brown only makes it because like he's with Jason Tatum. Like
I 100%
like, comparing their stats to Jaylen Brown.
He's in the biggest market. That's probably another reason.
Yeah, the voting probably played a giant role. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Brennan, but I completely agree with the whole Trae Young thing. I think it's bad that he got snubbed. I think it's bad for basketball because there's players like what am I trying to say? I
feel
think
like I was saying this like the same time last year, like just snubbed again, bro.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I mean, dude, imagine you're Trae Young right now, dude. You get made fun of because you look like the lollipop on the carpet, all that stuff. You have the hair thing. You look like a what are those like little toys, those trolls, whatever. You have all these things, and you also have the city of Atlanta wishing that they had drafted Luka or stayed with Luka over you. Then you have all these things coming against you, then you get snubbed. I mean, man, it just sucks, man. I feel bad for Trae Young. He's never been in any of these like big controversies. I feel like maybe I'm missing something. I don't think I am. And I don't know. I feel like he's a cool guy, a great guy, and I don't understand all the hate, and I don't understand how he got snubbed. I would. I mean, this is a hot take. I put him over. I would put him over Jaylen Brown, and I'm sure. I mean, the Celtics have the most loyal fans probably in the entire league. Not the biggest market, but it's still a large fan base. Those 2 can be separate, and I think that was probably the deciding factor that put Jaylen Brown over. I don't put value in this case, having the Celtics be the 1 seed, because the Celtics have by and far the best roster in the NBA, at least for like winning regular season games. And so yeah, that's my argument for why Trae Young should have been in.
Dude, thanks for strengthening my argument, man. I really like that.
No, I think yours was. I didn't
really
really
just
I just
proves
added
that I
on.
just chose the best player.
No, that I mean, yeah, I'd agree that was probably the top.
No, but I
top
mean,
up in the East.
it's just tough for Trae Young because his team's always battling for I guess the play-in spot. I believe that's 10 teams now, right? So he
Yeah.
they're always battling for the play-in. And then their front office gets him no help. If anything, they just trade away his key pieces. They lost John Collins,
Yeah.
last NBA offseason. So it's they're not helping him at all. And people hate him so much. And he's
They're
doing
gonna
all
lose. They're gonna lose DeJounte Murray too. So
he's doing all he can. He's averaging good numbers. And just for the NBA to not recognize what he's doing. I mean, I guess it's the NBA fans too.
Yeah.
But just everyone in general, this man's doing all he can. I mean, obviously he's not going to be in the MVP conversation either.
Sure.
So it's he's just doing this just for fun now. Because I mean, now what?
Yeah.
They're not going to make the playoffs. So feel bad for him, man.
Yeah. All right, Josh, you got one that we're missing?
I think I got one. I got De'Aaron Fox. I hate to say that. I mean, he could have been the 8th player for Kentucky. But that's not why I picked him. It's not why I picked him. I know a lot of people are going to think that's why, but no. He's been averaging 27 points off 46%, almost 47% field goal percentage, and 38% from three. He's not the greatest 3-point shooter, but 38%, that's pretty high clip.
He's a shot chucker, so the percentages are going to be low.
I mean, 38% is not low for 3-point percentage, and almost
I know, but I'm talking about the field goal
7% from field goal percentage. It's not bad. It's not
but
amazing,
it probably would be higher if he wasn't their primary.
Right. I mean, he's averaging 5.5 assists, 1.6 steals, 4.1 rebounds. I just think he got a little snubbed. I mean, who would he replace? I guess you
That's
go
what I was
the
about
same.
to ask you. Who would you replace him?
I guess it'd be the same argument for. Well, actually, hold on. Let me think real quick. Let me cook. Hold on. Let me cook.
I mean, the only person I could compare it to would be Anthony Edwards, but
yeah, I mean, but
you're not going to take out Curry. I know you're not going to say Devin Booker.
Yeah, Devin Booker stands.
And you
He's
can't
averaging
take
28.
You can't take out the 2 starting guys, so it's
yeah, it's kind of hard to find a spot.
say
The most comparable,
Paul
the
George.
most comparable.
George.
Well, doesn't it have
why?
to fit? Doesn't it have to be a guard that they
I
take
don't
out?
think it has to be.
Well, I mean, whatever. If there was a guard that I would say has the probably the closest, if it's a debate, it would probably be Ant. Just because, I mean, dude, he's younger and also his stats aren't as good. But I think that the whole thing I was talking about, the seeding and also the I mean, I guess they're both kind of number one options. But
I'd go Ant or Paul George.
Ant definitely has the attention of the country, especially with the Team USA. He's definitely on everyone's radar right now.
Are you talking about the Team USA that really sucked?
Dude, the team at USA that got second, that he was the main part of. So
Yeah, but
that's FIBA.
USA
That
should
don't
never
count.
be second.
Okay, I know, but I'm not arguing that. All I'm saying is that he has the public's attention, so that would be hard
Does
for
he?
him to not get. I think he does.
I would say so, yeah.
I think he has more than De'Aaron Fox. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's so I think
I agree.
compared to that, I think he has more. I mean, it's not even about market. It's just about he does have a more marketable play style, more marketable attitude, more marketable just personality, everything that goes with it. And that's just unfortunate for D Fox, but also fortunate for Ant fans like me. So
Yeah, but who's a better player?
I think Ant.
Okay.
I think it's really close right now, but I think that the fact that Fox is a little bit older and it's close just shows, just proves more.
I mean, you could argue that they're the same team and just look at their records. So I mean,
Yeah.
But let me hit you. Can I hit you with some breaking news, guys?
Sure, let's hear it.
The Saints are planning to hire 49ers pass game specialist Kliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator.
Really?
Mhm.
Huh. I mean,
That's
I don't know
per
if that.
Adam Schefter, the GOAT, better than the Woj guy.
True. Okay, I don't know if this is my immediate take. I don't know if adding this guy is gonna. I don't know. I don't think it's written in that adding a offensive coordinator is gonna help you with your insane deficit in the salary cap. But maybe it's this new rule that I've overlooked. The Saints are royally screwed in the next 5 years in terms of their money situation, and I don't even know if it kind of sucks being in this position because this guy, Kubiak, I've been following him for a bit. I just feel bad for him because he's going to be looked down upon because of the lack of success the Saints are going to have in the next couple of years. That's my immediate take.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, yeah, it's tough. That division is a toss-up to the NFC South, but when you have to draw up plays, no offense to Derek Carr, but he's not what he used to be. And like your best weapon is Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Like it's just like their offense is just like weird.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to I think this is our second ever feels good story of the week, but I'm gonna keep doing this, or we're gonna keep doing this. I feel like we're gonna keep doing this. This is a good way to uplift spirits, make people happy, and I think we need a little bit more good in that aspect. So our feels good story of the week for this week, first week in February, is gonna be Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews. He didn't. It doesn't matter that they just lost a clutch game. He's gonna still step in and help. He was on a Southwest Airlines flight, which I mean, Mark Andrews, man, come on, bro. Why aren't you flying private? But he's saving some money, so he was on a Southwest Airlines flight, and a woman in front of him apparently started to pass. She was going unconscious. She had her heart rate was really low, like really 35 to 40, I think it was. Pulse was weak, and she needed oxygen. So all that was happening. And Mark Andrews is sitting, and no one really knew that Mark Andrews. I mean, I don't know. Me personally, if I was on a plane, there's a guy. How tall is he? Like 6'6". I'd probably know. I'd be able to sniff it out that it was a Mark Andrews. But anyway, he went unnoticed, and there was a nurse and the doctor on the flight that were trying to help out. But Mark apparently just got up and asked if it was possible that she had low blood sugar, if that could be the reason why she was having such a hard time breathing and the heart rate was low. And he had a diabetic test kit. And if you did not know, Mark Andrews actually has type 1 diabetes. He's like very vocal about his I think he does a lot of initiative stuff related to that diagnosis. And so yeah, he hosts camps for like diabetic children and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. And so he had a test kit, obviously, because someone with diabetes needs to have that on hand, and he had helped administer it, and that actually turned out to be what the problem was. So he helped save someone's life on a plane. Overall, props to Mark Andrews, man, coming off a loss and still being a great person. I think that's really cool. So that's our feels good story of the week. And I think next we should talk about the games that we picked, or the records that we had last week, and maybe talk about our picks for this upcoming week. You guys good with that? All right. So last week, it was not a great week for us overall. Josh and I went 5-5. Brandon went 4-6. He was a bit, he went out on a limb for some of these games, and so overall not a great week. But we, to be fair, we do pick some games that are like relatively close. We got to make it interesting. So when we go 5-5, when we go 6-4, and even when we go like 4-6 or 3-7, it's not a sign, because obviously we are probably the three of the most knowledgeable people in all of sports. So it's kind of like not like a thing about our ability to pick, just like how the games are unpredictable. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, like how am I supposed to know the Celtics will like lose their first home game to the Clippers, bro?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Like this is not stuff that
we weren't given that part of the script. We were only given half of it. So
how did you guys not know that Iowa State with Ames Magic would
Dude, that was a good
Kansas?
pick, and you talked about it. You were very confident talking about that last week. So I props to you, Josh. That was a good prediction, good pick. So yeah, Iowa State did beat Kansas State.
But Josh, how'd you not know that like the Nuggets would like top the Bucks like in Doc Rivers like first game?
Come on, man.
Like blow a lead, like
Well, I just thought
like
Doc Rivers would kind of like take a back seat and not be Doc Rivers for once,
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, running total, because it's been, I think, 3 weeks now. So yeah, we've completed 3 weeks. We're about to start week 4. And our total so far is Josh is 16-4 for a total of 53% win rate. Brandon's 15.
Whoa! You said 16-4.
Sorry, 16-14 for an a win rate of 53%. Brennan is 15-15 for a win rate of 50%, and I am 19-11 for a win rate of 63%. So that is our running total. And let's get into the games for this week. So week 4, tonight is actually our first game. So I have to get editing right after we finish this podcast and upload this. But tonight we have our first 2 games of our week 4 slate. So first 2 games, I'll just start it off. We can rotate. Kings at Pacers, and all of us have the Kings. Butler at number 13, Creighton, college basketball game. All of us have Creighton. So obviously not any variance there. Probably not much to talk about. Pretty confident in the Creighton pick, although that is a great Big East matchup. And then the Kings at the Pacers. The Pacers are pretty injury. I think Miles Turner's out, and then Halliburton might be out. Halliburton, man, Get your stuff together, man. Do some more stretches before the games. All right, Josh or Brandon, you guys want to talk about Saturday?
Yeah, I'll do Saturday. Major stretch of NCAA basketball, but first we got the Bucks at the Mavs. I went Mavs before I knew they were injured, but also after I figured it out, I was like, you know what, Luka magic, it happens once in a while, and I don't believe in Doc Rivers. So I stuck with the Mavs, and then Coleman and Brandon both picked the Bucks.
Yep.
I don't know why they put faith into Doc Rivers, but that's fine.
Well, Josh, was it not you last week who had the utmost faith in Doc Rivers, like we just mentioned? What happened during that time?
Well, I just thought he would sit back and not do anything, but obviously he's going to try to implement his system heavily. Okay. So,
and you think it's a detrimental? Okay, I got you.
I'm gonna say it right now. Giannis goes for 40.
Okay, lock it in.
I'm gonna say right now. Luka goes for 60 plus.
I'll put it right next to
the plus.
And then Luka 60 plus. All right, I gotta write these down just so I can hold you guys accountable for when you're dead wrong.
Okay.
All right. And then next we got number 4 Houston at number 8 Kansas in Lawrence. A tough place to play, but I have the utmost faith in Houston and their defense and their efficiency. So I went Houston. I think Coleman, for the same reasons, went Houston. Yep. Brandon went Kansas. I don't know why, because they play 3-on-5 basketball every time they step on the court. Like I said last week, they just lost in Ames, and now they're going to try to come back in Kansas. I don't think it's going to work out. I mean, Houston's a better basketball team. But Brandon, why'd you pick Kansas?
No, just go ahead. I picked Kansas because everyone has picked their upset. Like you picked Iowa State. Like this is my game. Kansas undefeated at their home place. Hunter Dickinson, Michigan. I wouldn't say legend because he didn't really squat up there, but Michigan alum. And that's why Kansas Jayhawks. I just have to prove that they're better than Kentucky. So if they win.
Well, that's not going to happen. Anyway, moving on. Duke at UNC. This is a top 10 matchup, 7 versus number 3. UNC being the higher. I think we all went UNC here.
RJ Davis is playing extremely well.
RJ Davis is him. He a National Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah. I see a lot of UNC fans joke and say, what if Caleb Love and RJ Davis are on the same team, as a joke, pointing to like, what if they played this good together? And so that's what.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh well.
What if Kentucky players played all 4 years at Kentucky? Oh well. Anyway. Yep. Anyway, I don't think
they usually don't even play one.
Exactly. Like Shaden Sharp. Anyway, Duke, I don't see Duke having anybody, even though Jared McCain, coming off his great performance on TikTok with 2 days into college. Monumental put on, though, for real. Like, that girl is going to make millions of dollars off Jared McCain. Congrats to her. But that's about all Jared McCain's done this season. UNC, great team. And Baycott, their center, he looks like Michelle Obama. So we joke all the time that that's Michelle Obama playing for UNC. He
also kind of looks like John Morant if he was on Zion's diet.
Yeah, but like I said, RJ Davis going to carry UNC, especially UNC being at home. It's a rivalry game, so it's kind of a toss-up in that aspect. But UNC being home, I think, gives them the edge.
Sure.
Anything you guys want to add on that one?
No, I'm excited to get into this next game.
Oh, yeah, next game. This is the game of the weekend for me and Coleman. And Brandon, nobody cares about you. Number 5, Tennessee. Oh, Rocky Top, going to burn down this weekend at number 10, Kentucky.
I say this is a top 10 matchup, bro. Kentucky's number 10. Give them their credit. Come on. Top 10 matchup.
Hey, if you can count 5 and 10 are both in the top 10, that's why.
Hey, no. Don't hate on him. He's turning a new leaf. He's giving Kentucky the respect they deserve.
No, he's not. He picked against them.
Yes.
Yeah, so me and Coleman picked our team, Kentucky, of course, for obvious reasons. We did come off a bad loss against Florida this week.
Really bad.
But, got to turn it around. We're going to be fully healthy this weekend. No excuses, so we're going to see what happens. Hopefully, Big Z comes in and rocks Rupp again, but he has not been playing too great. Ugana's been playing good. Reed Shepard played all game last game, had 20 points, so he's been playing all right. Everybody's been playing good. So, Brandon, why'd you pick Tennessee?
It's simple math, Tennessee beat Florida, and Florida beat Kentucky.
Kentucky also beat Florida at Florida. So, where's that math, buddy?
Well, I mean, I'm just going for recency bias, and my job here, guys, is just to piss Josh off. So, when Tennessee comes back and they beat Kentucky after being down, let's say they're down 10 at half, they come back and beat Kentucky and Kentucky.
If we're up
Just,
10,
just
if
I
we're
just want
up
y'all to
10,
know when I'm looking the score up, I'm gonna have a big smile on my face.
There
you're
you
not gonna
go.
watch you're not gonna watch the game.
I might. I'm a very
Wow,
busy man,
what a
Josh.
great analyst.
I'm busy.
Yeah,
I
you're
have other
busy. All
games
right,
to analyze.
all right. Moving on. Whoever wants to do Sunday.
I'll finish this out, guys. Pause. Clippers at Heat for this Sunday NBA basketball. We all have the Clippers. Not much to say there. I mean, Paul George, Swaggy P. As long as it's not the playoffs, he's a good guy.
Yes, sir.
Monday we have another NBA game. We have Mavs at Sixers. Josh went with the Sixers. Me and
Why?
Coleman with the Mavs.
Embiid's not going to be playing.
I went with the Mavs.
I think Embiid will play.
Embiid might play.
I don't think he's gonna. I think they're gonna. I mean, it
No,
wasn't
he
an
can't sit
official
too
It's
much
his
announcement.
longer.
meniscus.
Yeah, it's his meniscus, and I think it's cooked. His team, they're gonna. I think it's pretty. I know they announced it, but it's kind of like a unofficial announcement that his meniscus is cooked. We don't know if it's like the kind where you need to get the surgery with like the 4 month.
He has to get another
time.
MRI. He has to get 2 MRIs.
Yeah, so and it's not conclusive yet. So there's a good chance, unfortunately, that this guy that's having an amazing season, albeit kind of fraudulent with the free throws, it might be done for a good while. And I think with that chance, I'm obviously the health is more important, but I'm going with the Mavs for the sake of the record of my picks. I guess is the best way to say it. But I don't think that he's going to play, and if he does,
I
he'll
think
be
if there's
limited.
a chance, I think if there is a chance he plays, and he plays because he has to for awards wise.
Sure. Okay.
But either way, I pick the 76ers. I believe in Tyrese Maxey, and I think he's going to get done. And then Luka's going to come off that 60-plus game and think that he doesn't have to play again. So, yeah.
70-plus game.
I said 60.
Why 60?
60-plus. That was my prediction earlier.
Oh,
against
you're
the
right.
Bucks.
That one. Yeah, you're right. All right.
Yeah, so he's going to
Rounding
come off
out
tired.
Rounding out the last two games, we got number 22 BYU at number 23 Oklahoma. And I'm the only one that has BYU. I'm the only one. I personally am drawn to BYU because of their disrespect to the University of Texas. I'm inspired, to be frank with you guys. I'm inspired by the sheer inspiration. It's just the whole story around this whole BYU program and their fans, their student section is just inspirational to me. They stood up, they took a stand against Texas, they put their horns down, and they got punished for it. And I'm willing to bet that their BYU team, basketball team, the players are upset about that, and they're gonna go make a statement against another Big 12 opponent, future SEC opponent. But yeah, I have BYU. And then Wednesday, last game of the week 4, we have the Pelicans at the Clippers, and all of us have the Clippers. So yeah, that rounds out our games for week 4, our predictions. And yeah, without further ado, I want to thank everyone for coming out and listening to the podcast this week. I'm sure all of you guys lasted to the very end and no one clicked off. So for those of you still listening, thank you for listening the whole way. If you guys want to check out our social medias, you can go to Instagram and look up Show Wildcards, and there you can find a link tree that shows us all of our social medias, and you can follow us everywhere you want. And make sure to check that out. And without anything else, if you guys don't have anything else to say, I think that's good.
No, I think we're good. I appreciate y'all listening. Hope you have a blessed week. And yeah, God bless.
Peace.
Peace.